I think Guardiola will be such a massive signing. I'm intrigued to know whether you're going to go back in for Kimmich. Kimmich's one for me. It was mooted quite quickly by Bayern Munich, but that would be a signing. You add him into your middle, not getting Declan Rice becomes not even a footnote in City's history.
I just think we've got a couple of destroyers in the middle there. Rodri, Kovacic, Phillips. A couple of people can put the foot on the ball and defend, but we just need a spark, because there's a lot of times where if De Bruyne's not on the field in the middle, we break him from midfield. Haaland's directly in front of the midfield making them runs, and none of them players can find him. It's always side to side. And I just feel like if we got somebody with a little bit of nous in the midfield who can thread that ball through, I think it just adds a bit more to our game. So that's why with him, the Georgian kid in a number 10 sort of role, or De Bruyne's coming off after 70 minutes, he's tired, bring this kid on, or start him on the wing or whatever. I don't know, but Man City and Napoli can't get a deal done between each other. They hate each other.
Yeah, look, yeah, it's going to be a real interesting one to see how this kind of pans out for yourselves. And yeah, I think not getting Rice, if I just take all my bias out of it, I think it's good for the window overall, because it keeps you guys fishing, it changes things, it makes other teams under more pressure. I'm not surprised to see Chelsea go straight into conversations for Caicedo as soon as the Rice situation looks like it's resolved itself. Almost damn, because now one of those guys might start focusing over here. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed to see what way that progresses. Remember, people, any questions that you've got for Big Steve, member chats, super chats, we'll always prioritize them for you. Please make sure like buttons have been hit. We are going to get into more detail on the Declan Rice situation a little bit later as well. I wanted to ask you, just away from City for a moment, I wanted to ask your thoughts on, there's an interesting move. Liverpool exploring a move for, I want to try and pronounce his name right, Dominic Szobo, I think it's pronounced, Szobo, the RB Leipzig midfielder. It says that Liverpool have met his camp. They might be going in for him. I don't know how much you know about him. I know you played Leipzig this year. Is he the kind of player that's going to help Liverpool catch you, though? Because that's all they can be aiming for. Or is he just a standard below that, in your opinion?
No, he's a good young player. And like I say, for Leipzig, I've seen him. I don't think he played against us in one of the games, but I've seen him play before. He's obviously up and coming. Liverpool are in an important part. You know, Liverpool are a good side. I think Liverpool will be up there this season, challenging for the league, in my opinion. I think what Liverpool need is a few young and hungry players to get the spark back in the squad. They've let a few players go, Naby Keita and Milner and Oxlade-Chamberlain and people like that. I think they need to replace it with some good, young, hungry squad players. They've got a good side. You know, Darwin Núñez, he gets in a lot of good goal scoring positions, but just couldn't finish last year. Mo Salah, we know about him. You know what I mean? The defence, Virgil van Dijk, the goalkeeper. So Liverpool ain't a bad side. And I think Jurgen Klopp will. It would have hurt him last season the way he finished and the way he didn't get in the Champions League. I think he's going to be hurting from that. And I think this is his time. He needs a big window, and he needs to freshen that squad up and go again. You know what I mean? I think he left it a bit late. I think he clinged on to a few of the older players where they should have got rid of him earlier. But yeah, it'd be a good signing for Liverpool, I think.
Yeah, I think he will be. I don't know too much about him. Again, I've seen him play in a few games. I've read a lot about him. It's potential rather than ready-made. And I do think with Liverpool, when you look at the McAllister's in, they've looked at Thuram, they're looking at this man now. The one thing I wouldn't say concerns me as a Man United fan, but would concern me if I was a Liverpool supporter is, who is that player that's going to increase our levels next year? That person that is established, like Arsenal getting Declan Rice as an example there. Someone that's been there, done it, worn the T-shirt and is ready. There's a lot of inexperience coming in, or people that have never played in this league before in terms of who they're linked to. And again, for Liverpool, it doesn't matter if they make the top four next year. It doesn't matter if they win a League Cup next year. For the standards Klopp has set, if they're not winning the Prem and not winning the Champions League, it's a disappointing season. So they've really got to move their levels. And so far with Liverpool, they just haven't done what the fans have been demanding. It was almost a case of, right, if we're not getting Bellingham for 100 and something million, there's got to be 3 top quality midfielders coming in. And they haven't moved quick enough quite yet. Now, it is early, and I said earlier, patience is needed. You don't panic shouldn't be setting in. But I'm just looking at some of the profiles they're linked to, and you think, is there too much inexperience in that as opposed to a handful of ready-made players? Are they going to have the mixture quite right? And I think that's going to be the question for them. But we'll see. Look, there might be people out there in the comments that know far more about this man than me. Here says Terry, we're getting Mount for 55 million. You should be happy. I don't know where you've got. Is that new news that's just come out now? I wouldn't be surprised if we have. But there we go. Yeah, we'll get him for around that amount, and it's not over the value. So I'll be happy that we haven't overpaid for him. But yeah, Liverpool are going to be an interesting one next year. How do you gut feeling? How do you think they'll do?
I think they'll be up there. I think they'll be above Arsenal. Just got this feeling. I know
really?
that's Liverpool team. Yeah, 100%. The Liverpool will be better than Arsenal next season. You can clip that.
I get that. What do you think is going to? Why do you believe that?
I just think they had a fall off last season. They had a fall off, and it dented them. The season before, when they went with City toe to toe, and they didn't quite get there. It was a big kick in the teeth. I think it flattened the football club. They didn't bring anyone in to get the spark going again, and they were flat. But Liverpool, at home, at Anfield especially, and if they kick into gear, they're the only team, like Man City, that can go on these mad runs near the end. And if you look at them last season, they were stop, start. But I just believe, that's my opinion, you know what I mean? Arsenal fans in the chat get rattled to death. And, Steve's salty and all this. Listen, Steve don't give a shit about Arsenal because we just dealt with Arsenal. So, I'm just telling you my opinion. Liverpool will finish above Arsenal. With Declan Rice or without.
I think it's a big. I think they're capable. Their window is going to be very, very key to that, in my opinion. If they do bring in Szobo Sly, they bring in Thuram, and they click and they look good, they start the season well. Of course they can, because they've got some great players still in their team. Trent going into midfield is going to be massive next season. How does it work, if that makes sense, in terms of who's going to cover him in the right back role? Who's going to play in that position? Will they deliver? Will Van Dijk get back to his levels? Because they'll need that.
I can see him trying that. I can see him trying that Trent thing and it not working. And then going back to what Liverpool go back to. They'll go back to what they already know. I think Darwin Núñez will have a better season than he did last season. I think he had a okay season. But I think if he can hit the ground running and they can get the chances into him, he scores a lot of goals in. We take the piss. And we do, because he misses a lot. But you've got to be in them positions to fucking get on the end of them. And sooner rather than later, then they're all going to be coming off, let me tell you. And he's going to end up on fire because he's got everything for a decent striker. He has. He just that little bit of confidence in front of goal that was lacking. He was snatching at shots when he didn't have to snatch at shots. But I think he's had a season now. He's a lot more better prepared. Mo Salah's consistent. He does what Mo does all the time. They've lost Firmino, so they're going to bring somebody in there. I just think Liverpool are going to come back this season. That's just my opinion. I've watched a lot of football with Liverpool, and I just think they're going to come back. But we'll see, won't we?